Hi everyone! Welcome to day 1 of my 12 days of interactive December dailies video series, where I'll be showing you process videos for 12 of the interactive pages from my 2020 December daily album. Today I'll be showing you how to make this title page with a see-through shaker element using a cut file from Citrus Twist Kits, some pattern paper from Cocoa-Daisy, and embellishments from Buttons Galore and Studio Katia. So this is going right into my Citrus Twist Life Crafted album, and you can see that there are some fun, shimmery shaker pieces in here. So let's get started. So I have done a couple of things off screen just to save some time. First of all, I used my brother's scan and cut machine to cut this cut file out from white cardstock. This is the Citrus Twist Kits cut file that they have in their digital store. And I cut a piece out from white cardstock as well as 3 pieces out from the Cocoa-Daisy Cranberry Rose collection pattern papers. I also edited the cut file a bit, like I filled in all of these spaces here online. And I created this file that just has the Noel on it. So the reason why I wanted to do that was I'm going to be putting in some colored pieces of paper in these slots, but I wanted this Noel to still be see-through because we're going to create a shaker out of that. And what I did was I cut this file, I think a total of 10 times. So on one of the sheets, before I cut the piece of paper, I used my 2-inch score tape and just lay a few strips down there so that by the time I'm done, this will be, once the backing is removed, this entire front piece will be adhesive. I've also cut down a few other pieces so that this fits kind of the same size as, so that it doesn't overlap with the holes of my page protector. This is one of the page protectors from the Life Crafted album that Citrus Twist Kits has. So the idea is that I want to layer this piece on top of the adhesive sheet, and then on top of another piece that I have not cut down, and hole punch this so that this is the same size as a sheet protector, and then layer these pieces below that so that the piece that's going to be hole punched isn't too thick because I don't want there to be too much bulk, but I still wanted enough bulk around the Noel word so that I could form a shaker piece, and so that my sequins can flow a bit easier in that shape. And then the last thing that I did was I just cut out of some more pattern paper just the Noel sheet, so that when I'm done with this piece I can put the backer behind here, and so my pieces will layer like that, and then when I turn the page, there'll just be some pattern paper on the back of that shaker piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove some of this tape backing and just apply some acetate around here. So I've cut down a couple of pieces of acetate already. And pretty much this is going to cover the area that the Noel is under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of this tape backing. And place this piece of acetate on here. so. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece over here and just make sure that I have the letters nice and lined up. So there is some adhesive poking out from here, so I'm just going to press that down to adhere once my letters are lined up. And then I'm going to remove the tape backing from this side as well. And so you'll see when I press that down, all of these pieces have adhesive on them, and it'll just make it a bit easier to inlay all the pieces. I'll remove the tape backing from the side as well. There we go. To save some time, I've also just done a bit of experimenting with the pieces that I cut out. So basically I ran through the cut file on these 3 pieces of paper, and what I did was I saved all of the pieces and I made sure to match them up so that, like, there's one piece here that has text, and I made sure to run that through the cutting machine with the text facing the right way. And then so I just wanted to make sure that all these pieces fit back where they belonged. And what I did was I put the berries as the red paper. Most of the bigger leaves I put the darker pattern paper that you see here, and the smaller leaves I used the lighter patterned piece of paper. And then what I did was I just used one of those stick and hold, I think they're called. I'll link it down below, sheets. Basically they just they're kind of like cling wrap, but they do stick to paper, and I just use that to hold all of my pieces here so that I can transfer them to this adhesive piece that I have here. I do still have a lot of leftover pieces that I can use for future projects, and these will for sure make it onto like cards or other projects as well. So I'll put those aside and save those for later, and we'll get to sticking these down. I think I'm going to speed this section up so that it's a bit faster and you don't have to watch me put all these individual pieces in. So that clear sheet of sticky cling wrap that I have is called Glad Press and Seal, and it's a kitchen product actually. People use it to wrap their foods in, but it's great for crafting products because you can press it down and it can stick to all the tiny pieces of pattern paper that I have there without leaving behind a sticky residue. So it is a temporary stick, and it just kind of clings onto the paper so that here I can peel it back and take out my pieces and stick them to the appropriate spots. I just wanted to mention as well that on this cut file, the leaves on the sides and the berries are not symmetrical. So it took me a bit of time off camera to figure out where all of these pieces go. A couple of tips that I have for you are that if you have patterns that are directional, so like if they have words on them and you cut them out, it's easier to put those pieces in first because they are directional, so they only go the one way. And so there's only a certain amount of places that you can put these pieces that have words on them. Another thing that I noticed that I'm going to be doing here is that the pieces kind of towards the middle section that are close to the Noel word will be overlapping with the acetate piece that I put down. So the acetate doesn't have adhesive on it, and that's why I'm using my Zig two-way glue pen to add a bit of glue onto those pieces before I stick my pieces of pattern paper down. So overall, this whole process, this entire video from start to finish without speeding up took me about 45 minutes to do. So it is a bit more time consuming, but that's why I'm doing it in November instead of in December when I'm going to be a bit busier. And it's actually quite therapeutic piecing all of these pieces in and just watching it come together. Another note is that you can definitely reuse your piece of press and seal as well for other projects. I just forgot and I threw mine out at the end of this video. All right, so that's done, looking great. So now I'm going to back them onto these pieces here. Starting with the one that I didn't cut down. And to do that, I'll use this as, this is the Zig two-way glue pen. So the reason why it's called two-way is because when you squeeze it down, and you'll notice that it's blue, it's when you stick it down and it's blue, it's going to be permanent, whereas if you let it dry first and then stick it down, it's going to be a temporary adhesive. And I like the fine point on this for putting together intricate cut files and die cuts like these. So I'm going to back this one onto here, and I'll use the Tombow Mono permanent adhesive tape runner for the larger sections and this glue pen for the smaller sections. All right, next what I want to do is punch some holes into this so that it'll fit into my Life Crafted album. So I'm going to line it up with a page protector that I already have and trace the holes so I know where to punch. Just doing it lightly in pencil. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build the walls of my shaker starting from the bottom. So I'll lay some acetate down on this pattern piece of paper, and then I will stack the rest of these cut files onto the pattern paper so that they create a nice thick wall to hold my shaker pieces. So here I'm just putting adhesive around my Noel word on the pattern piece of paper, and then putting down a piece of acetate and making sure that it's adhered properly. And then layering pieces of cardstock on top of this to create a thicker wall for my shaker pieces to move around in. So a couple of ways that you can save time doing this is, first of all, you could apply score tape onto the fronts of the white pieces of cardstock before you run them through your cutting machine so that they already have adhesive on the fronts and you don't have to use the tape runner and glue pen. Just be careful when you're doing that though to make sure that the side with the score tape is facing up, because the tape backer that has to be removed to reveal the sticky side is kind of slippery. So if you put it with that side facing the cutting mat, then it will actually potentially slip and slide and it won't give you a clean cut. You'll see here that I'm using a Q-tip with some rubbing alcohol to remove some excess adhesive that had gotten into that O there. So feel free to do that if you get some adhesive in your acetate window. You'll also see me occasionally use my tweezers to scrape the insides of my Noel word, and that's like here. And that's just because when I'm using my tape runner, sometimes if I don't lift it off the page entirely, the adhesive gets onto the acetate as well and inside the windows. So I just use my tweezers to scrape away any excess adhesive that might be lingering on those letters. Another way you can save time is you could potentially cut this cut file out using fun foam. I didn't try that with my cut machine because I'm not sure if my blade can handle such a thick material, but in that case you would save time by maybe instead of running 10 pieces of cardstock through and then gluing all of those down, you could potentially just run 2 layers of fun foam down through the cutting machine and glue those down, and that would create an adequately thick wall for all of your shaker pieces to be moving around in the shaker. Alright, I'm back and I've just let my 2 pieces dry a bit. I just wanted to make sure that the glue was nice and dry before I went to this next step. So here I'm using some of these shimmers embellishments from Buttons Galore in my pack, and because these this embellishment pack only had these large drops, I wanted to incorporate some smaller ones. So here I'm using Studio Katia's clear embellishment gems. I'll put a link to both of these down below in the description box, just to give it like a bit more texture. I also wanted to let you guys know that if you buy any sequin packs and they come with sequins that are, you can see that this snowflake sequin looks really thick. So what happens is when they do the die cutting process, sometimes they get stuck together, but all you need to do is rub them between your fingers and they'll come apart. So make sure that you do that before you start to fill your shaker piece. So I'm just taking this bottom piece here, the one with the patterned paper at the back, and I'm going to be filling it with my sequins and little dewdrop gems. So I just want to make sure that I have a mixture of these clear gems. I like them to be all facing up. You can see that they are flat on one side and round on the other, so I just like to place them with the flat side facing down. Alright, so now I'm going to apply tape adhesive onto this side of the page. I don't want to apply adhesive here, just in case they accidentally shift the sequins and embellishments around. So I'm going to keep in mind that this piece is actually larger than this piece. Remember that it overhangs by about 3/8 of an inch. So I don't want to get tape onto there. So in order to make sure that this part is also adhered down, I'm just going to apply some tape here. And then I'll put tape up to, adhesive runner up to maybe about there, and then make sure that this piece is adhered down to here. So here's my finished page. I'll lift it up so that you can see all the cool glittery goodness that is in each of these letters. And I like that you can just shake it, and it does have a very subtle movement in each of those letters. So this is going to be my cover page for my 2020 December daily album. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more interactive December daily pages. I'll be doing 12 of them this year, hopefully. So if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching.